All right, so let's dive into this.
Okay.
Imagine, spending years building a life in a new country,
Right.
working towards citizenship.
Hmm.
And then suddenly the rules change.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's a huge deal, and that's what's happening right now in Finland.
Yeah, and we're going to unpack all these changes to Finnish citizenship requirements.
All these changes that just came out?
Straight from October 1st.
So the Finnish Immigration Service,
You agree?
Migri, right?
Yeah.
Just announced a pretty big change to the residency requirement.
Yeah.
A full 8 years now
8 years.
for citizenship.
It's a big jump from what it used to be.
It is.
And anyone living in Finland right now who's, hoping to become a citizen needs to understand what this means.
Yeah.
The good news is this only affects applications submitted after October 1st. If you applied before that date, you're in the clear.
That's good.
You'll be assessed under the old rules.
Okay.
But for anyone just starting out,
Yeah.
this 8-year rule is the new reality.
8 years is a long time.
It is.
And it's not just about being physically present for those 8 years, is it?
You got it.
There's more to it.
They've also tweaked the rules about how long you can be outside of Finland during that time.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Because life happens.
Life happens.
People travel.
Exactly.
So what's the deal with that?
So under the new rules, you're allowed a total of 365 days outside Finland
Okay.
during that entire 8-year period.
So 1 year out of 8.
It sounds reasonable on the surface, right?
Yeah, you would think so.
Oh.
But there's always
There's always a but. You can only use up to 90 of those days in the year leading up to your application.
Oh, wow. I see.
So that dream project abroad,
Right.
that takes you away for 5 months.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do some serious strategizing if you're
Right.
planning to apply for citizenship soon after.
So it's not just about the total time.
It's about when that time is spent.
It's about the timing.
Exactly.
Wow. That's tricky.
Yeah,
So that's a lot of restrictions.
it is.
But we also heard there's some good news,
There is some good news.
especially for refugees or those who are stateless.
This is a really positive development.
Okay, tell me more.
Applications from those groups are now going to be prioritized,
Okay.
and they'll be processed within a year,
Wow.
which is a huge difference
That's amazing.
in processing times compared to what it was before.
Yeah.
And it's a good step towards recognizing the challenges that these groups face.
I agree.
People seeking refuge, those without a nationality,
Right.
they need support.
They do.
And this is a good sign.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
Now, how does Migri actually go about calculating this residency period,
Okay.
especially for refugees? Because it's not from the moment they arrive in Finland, right?
You're right. It's not about that initial arrival date.
Right.
It's about when they received their first continuous residence permit,
Okay.
the A permit.
The A permit.
That's the starting line for the 8-year countdown.
I see. So because the asylum process itself can take a while.
Exactly.
So they could be in limbo for quite a long time.
They could be waiting for years before that clock even starts.
Okay, so speaking of waiting,
Mm.
we know there's a big backlog of citizenship applications,
Yeah,
which just adds another layer of complexity to all of this.
for sure.
How does this backlog actually play into these recent changes?
It's a key part of the puzzle, for sure. Yeah, we're talking about a backlog of something like 28,000 applications.
28,000.
Yeah, a huge number
Wow.
is waiting to be processed.
So what's behind this bottleneck?
Well, there are a couple of things.
Okay,
There's definitely been an increase in applications lately,
I can imagine.
but a big part of the problem is the number of people who are applying who actually don't meet the requirements.
Seriously,
Yeah.
people are going through this whole process
It happens.
without even being eligible.
More than you'd think, and it causes a real headache for everyone because each incomplete application
Right.
slows the whole system down.
It's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
Wow. So listeners out there,
Yeah.
double check those eligibility requirements
Triple check them.
before you even think about applying.
Absolutely.
Don't waste your time
Don't waste your time.
or Migri's time.
It helps everyone.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So speaking of making things easier, are there any changes to the actual application process itself?
There are.
Like to make it a bit smoother?
Migri's been working on taking things digital.
Okay.
You can actually apply for citizenship online now
Oh, wow. It's great.
through their Enter Finland service.
So no more like printing out forms and mailing them in?
Well, you might still need to do some of that depending on your situation. Okay.
But it's a step in the right direction.
It's great that there's an online option.
Yeah.
Does that mean people can totally skip those in-person appointments at Migri?
It depends.
Okay.
If your application's straightforward,
Right.
and you meet all the criteria, then you might be able to avoid the lines altogether.
That's good to know. So applying online is definitely the way to go.
I would say so.
It's probably smoother,
Hopefully faster,
less stressful.
less stressful for everyone.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the immediate impacts of these changes, but what about the long term?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. What does this all mean for Finland down the line?
It makes you think about immigration and national identity.
Yeah.
Will these tougher requirements and longer wait times actually discourage people from applying? Interesting.
Will they see it as less attainable?
Right. Will it make Finnish citizenship seem less desirable?
It's like that saying, right?
Which one?
The one about if something's too hard to get,
Oh, right. Yeah.
people just stop wanting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you think that will happen?
It's possible,
Yeah.
but it could also go the other way.
How so?
Well, could these changes actually make Finnish citizenship more sought after?
More valuable.
Exactly like a badge of honor.
Because you had to work harder for it.
Because you stuck it out.
Right. It shows a real commitment
A willingness to go the extra mile.
to becoming Finnish,
Exactly.
to embracing the journey.
It all comes down to how people weigh the value of Finnish citizenship.
Against these new hurdles.
Against these new hurdles, exactly.
So that brings us to another question. What are the benefits of becoming Finnish in the first place?
Yeah.
What are those benefits?
Right, because
That's a big deal.
it's more than just...
Besides bragging rights.
Well, yeah.
It's all your friends.
There are some practical advantages, too.
Okay, like what?
Well, for one thing, it gives you a stronger sense of belonging.
Okay,
You know, you're aligning your values with Finland's.
I see.
It's a commitment.
It's a big decision.
It is.
So you're not just a resident anymore.
Exactly.
You're a full member of Finnish society.
Exactly. And with that comes the right to vote
Oh, right.
in all elections.
Even the big ones?
Even the parliamentary ones.
Wow, so you have a real voice.
You have a say in how the country is run.
That's a big deal.
It is.
I imagine it helps professional too.
Okay. Definitely some public sector jobs require Finnish citizenship.
Right.
And don't forget about travel.
Oh yeah, the Finnish passport.
That Finnish passport is like a golden ticket.
Visa-free travel to so many places.
It makes a world of difference if you travel a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
we've gone through a lot today.
We have.
Finnish citizenship just got a lot more complicated.
It's true. There are a lot of changes.
New rules,
Mm.
longer waiting times, a huge backlog.
It's a lot to digest.
But there's also some good news.
There is.
Migri's moving towards a more digital system.
Which is great.
Things should be smoother and faster.
Hopefully.
And this focus on eligibility.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder for everyone to be prepared.
Do your homework.
Right.
Understand what's required.
Don't be afraid to reach out to Migri
They're there to help.
if you have questions.
Exactly.
So the big question is, how will this all play out in the long run?
That's what we need to wait and see.
How will it affect immigration?
Will people still be interested in becoming Finnish?
Will it make Finland a less attractive destination?
These are important questions.
And we'll be here to explore them as things unfold.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it for this deep dive into Finnish citizenship.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
It was great being here.
And until next time, keep those insightful questions coming.